For centuries, the galaxy's most powerful civilizations followed one rule: don't let humans get ahead. They viewed humanity as a fragile species too primitive to ever pose a threat. But when an alien race disregarded this ancient rule, they unwittingly set off a chain reaction. Humanity, once forgotten, now surged ahead with such force that the galaxy was left reeling. What followed was a cosmic uproar that none of the galaxy's greatest minds could have predicted. As the universe scrambled to stop humanity's rise, they quickly realized their monumental mistake. Humanity's true power was not in their technology or strength, but in their unpredictable creativity. The Zelaxians were one of the most advanced species in the galaxy, their crystalline bodies gleaming with bioluminescent radiance. Their cities, suspended high above the clouds of their homeworld, were masterpieces of technology. The Zelaxians had mastered quantum mechanics long before most species had figured out basic arithmetic. Their ships could travel across galaxies in mere seconds. Their technology was woven into the very fabric of space itself. Their peaceful society was governed by a set of carefully documented protocols, with every task, from greeting guests to analyzing the cosmic temperature, logged in meticulously organized archives. The Zelaxian High Council was the most esteemed body in the galaxy, regarded by every known species as the epitome of scientific brilliance and efficiency. Every decision was made with precision, every step in the process clearly outlined in Rulebook XJ-404. Strict adherence to these rules was enforced at all levels of society, ensuring that no one ever had to think for themselves unless it was absolutely necessary. The citizens wore identical uniforms, their roles clearly defined. No chaos, no unpredictability, and certainly no room for mistakes. But there was one rule, one sacred commandment, that was so universally respected that it was ingrained into the psyche of every Zelaxian from birth: never disturb Earth. This rule was not written in any official law book, but was passed down verbally from generation to generation. It wasn't a law that anyone ever questioned, because no one truly knew why it existed. It was simply a fact of life. The rule had been reinforced by generations of alien species, all of whom had one shared experience: humanity was not to be disturbed. The rule was not to be broken, even by the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. The Zelaxians did not know what it meant for humanity to wake up, but they did know it was not good. This mysterious sleeping giant humanity had been dormant for millennia, but what would happen if it were to awaken? Humanity's long slumber had begun when their planet was on the brink of collapse. The Third World War had ravaged Earth, draining its resources and exhausting the human race. As the war escalated and global systems broke down, humanity decided, in a rare show of unity, to enter cryosleep. The exact reasons were lost to time, but the consensus among the few surviving humans had been simple. They would sleep away the centuries, waiting for a time when Earth could be restored and the human race could rise once more. The only problem was that humanity's reawakening was never meant to happen during the current galactic era. The Zelaxians had, for millennia, kept humanity locked away in time, literally and metaphorically, by monitoring Earth from afar, ensuring that nothing disturbed their slumber. There were legends passed down through generations, not just by the Zelaxians, but by other galactic species, to warnings about the great power humanity would wield once they awakened. But no one knew what that power actually was. Humanity's power had never been understood, not by any species in the galaxy. The rule had simply been set to prevent any disturbances from waking the humans, because there was a deep fear that if humanity were to wake up too early, they might not be able to handle the consequences. The Zelaxians had always believed they had time to study humanity from afar, time to watch them sleep, to see if they would ever be ready to interact with the rest of the universe. The warnings about Earth were universal passive warnings sent by every species who had ever come in contact with humanity. No one dared wake them. But then came the Zelaxians, curious, eager to learn more. Their curiosity had driven them to break the rule. Perhaps they thought humanity wasn't as dangerous as the warnings made it out to be. After all, they had technology far beyond anything Earth had ever known. What harm could it possibly do to simply study humanity? Could they learn from their technology, from their evolution? Could they find a way to peacefully coexist? So, with a simple scan of Earth's dormant systems, the Zelaxians broke the rule. What started as a small scientific curiosity turned into a disaster. The Zelaxians, eager to gather data on humanity's cryogenic technology, activated their probe and sent it into Earth's atmosphere. They thought they could simply observe the humans' dormant systems. They had no idea what they were about to unleash. The probe interacted with Earth's cryogenic systems, sending subtle pulses of energy throughout the planet. Humans, who had been asleep for centuries, stirred. The awakening began not with a loud bang, but with a low humor hum that resonated through the ancient human colony ships, activating their systems one by one. The humans began to wake up, but instead of the peaceful awakening that the Zelaxians had hoped for, it was chaos. The humans were angry, disoriented, and confused. The Zelaxians tried to contain the situation, their warships surrounding Earth in a defensive formation, but it was already too late. The humans were wide awake, and their first demand was simple: who dared wake us up? The Zelaxians were unprepared for what came next. Instead of a peaceful species emerging from hibernation, humanity began to exhibit behavior that even the Zelaxians could not have predicted. They were no longer just a weak, sleepy species. They were now fully awake, and they were not happy about being disturbed. The hum of the research vessel seemed almost deafening as the Zelaxian crew scrambled to regain control. The once sterile and orderly command deck was now filled with flashing red lights, high-pitched alarms, and frenzied whispers. Their leader, Xylith, was still staring at the communication screen, frozen in disbelief. He had long been the epitome of calm under pressure, but now a ripple of panic was vibrating through his crystalline form. The voice on the screen, human, unmistakably human, cut through the silence like a dagger. "Are you kidding me? Do you know how long it took us to synchronize our sleep schedules?" Xylith blinked, his glowing appendages dimming with uncertainty. It was true, humanity had been asleep for centuries, but there was a tone in their voice, a forceful demand that sent shivers through his form. His assistant Zix was visibly shaking, his transparency flickering as if his very body had trouble processing the data. "We did wake them up, didn't we? But why are they talking like they're mad? Why do they care about sleep schedules?" Xylith's mind raced. The last thing he remembered was the probe adjuster, harmless probe, sending a tiny pulse of energy. Yet within moments, human pods were stirring, thousands of them, and they were waking up, not as the frail remnants of an extinct species, but as an enraged collective of beings with a sense of ownership over the galaxy itself. Suddenly, the screen flickered, and another human appeared, this one wearing a bathrobe, clutching a cup of what appeared to be coffee, their hair a disheveled mess. They yawned, clearly irritated, before taking a long sip. "Are we really doing this now? I need a coffee refill, my phone's dead, and I can't even remember the last time I had a pizza." Zix and Xylith exchanged confused glances. They had always assumed that humans, if they were to ever return, would be thankful for the gift of time. Surely they would be eager to rebuild their civilization, right? Not to mention, there was a pressing matter at hand. They had just been woken from a cryosleep that had lasted centuries. Yet all the humans cared about were trivialities: pizza, coffee, and social media withdrawal. Xylith, still trying to get a handle on the situation, activated a holographic screen displaying Earth's coordinates. The human leader, a seemingly average individual in a bathrobe, was holding court, demanding things be fixed. Xylith watched helplessly as humans began to interact with the alien technology, messing with control panels, flipping switches, and overriding protocols that had been in place for eons. In the background, a group of humans had gathered, bickering and complaining about the lack of Wi-Fi. It was as if the entire history of the galaxy had been tossed aside, as irrelevant as an outdated software update. The universe, which had carefully followed the rules of the Zelaxians, was now being reprogrammed by these awakened humans. Then came the first shockwave. One of the humans who appeared to be in charge snatched the nearest control panel from Zix's hands and started fiddling with it. Zix tried to intervene but was stopped by a swift motion from the human leader. "Do you even know how to make this thing work?" the human asked, a smirk spreading across their face. The leader pressed a button, and the entire ship shuddered. No, this isn't part of the protocol," Zix cried, his voice faltering as he saw the Zelaxian control systems glitching, the power grid malfunctioning, and the ship's trajectory recalculating itself. The human leader took another sip of coffee. "It's simple, really. You just need to think outside the box, guys. This ship looks way too stiff. We'll start with changing the views." Before Xylith could even protest, A screen flashed with new commands. Within seconds, the entire galactic view outside the ship's windows shifted not to another distant nebula, but to a clearer, more aesthetic view of distant stars, as if they were being arranged for the best possible aesthetic pleasure. The Zelaxians were left frozen in shock. The ship's entire trajectory was altered to avoid a nearby black hole, but the humans didn't care. They were redecorating the cosmos, making it more visually pleasing. And then it happened. One human, who appeared to be one of their engineers, tapped the screen and created a new quantum equation. It was supposed to be impossible to manipulate quantum fields like that, but the human's input created an entire new frequency of reality and interaction, so strange that it baffled the most seasoned Zelaxian physicists. The laws of physics, the ones the Zelaxians had so carefully studied and observed, were now reprogrammed by these unpredictable humans. Xylith could only watch as the universe itself shifted. Planets in a nearby star system moved out of orbit just for fun, and a new star appeared out of nowhere, an event that would normally be impossible. This wasn't advanced technology at play. This was human imagination running rampant. "What are they doing?" Zix asked, his voice shaking with awe and disbelief. "This is beyond anything I've ever seen. They're not just tinkering with machines, they're rewriting reality." The Zelaxians' carefully constructed bureaucratic systems were completely powerless against humanity's will. There were no established rules that could contain this kind of chaos, no protocol to follow when the fabric of the universe itself was being altered. "It's happening again," Xylith whispered, his crystalline body dimming with defeat. "The humans, they're changing everything." The humans were reworking the rules. No longer were they subject to the laws of space, the order of time, or the protocols of galactic civilizations. They had the power to rewrite the galaxy in their image, and the Zelaxians were simply spectators in the chaos. The galaxy had never seen anything like this. As the Zelaxians watched in awe, the once orderly universe, a universe they had shaped with meticulous care, technology, and precision, began to unravel. The humans had awoken, and with them came an unstoppable wave of chaos. At first, the changes seemed trivial. A black holione of the most fearsome phenomena in the galaxy had been transformed into an entertainment hub. A massive portal of swirling light and energy, once the domain of death and destruction, was now pulsating to the beat of music, with colorful lights flashing in time with the tunes. It didn't make sense to any of the Zelaxians, but to the humans, it was just fun. Xylith, the chief science officer, stood frozen in front of the observation window of the Zelaxian flagship, eyes wide with disbelief. What should have been an ordinary day of monitoring the human awakening had turned into an event so absurd it could only be described as unfathomable chaos. The human leader, still dressed in a bathrobe and sipping a large cup of coffee, now sat at the helm of their newly commandeered ship. The ship's systems, once controlled by the Zelaxians, had been reprogrammed on a whim, nothing more than an afterthought to the humans. "We need a better view of the nebula," the human leader said, casually pressing a button that reoriented the ship in the direction of a distant nebula, rearranging the stellar bodies around them. The Zelaxians gasped in horror. Planets, stars, and galaxies, which had taken millions of years to align and stabilize, were now being shifted on a whim by a species that had barely begun to comprehend the complexities of the universe's natural laws. And that wasn't all. Humans weren't just changing the physical structure of the universe, they were altering reality itself. Zix, the once confident and sure-footed assistant, watched in terror as the human leader flicked a switch, causing the laws of time and space to fluctuate in a way the Zelaxians had only ever theorized. The time-space continuum bent and stretched, and an entire universe of possibilities started to unfold in real time. "What are they doing?" Zix's voice trembled. They're having fun," Xylith replied, the horror now settling into disbelief. "This wasn't supposed to happen. We were supposed to study them, not have them turn the entire galaxy into their playground." The Zelaxians had always thought themselves to be the pinnacle of creation, advanced, orderly, logical. Yet here they were, watching as human imagination bent the fabric of the cosmos to their will. Humanity wasn't using its technology to fight battles or conquer planets. No, they were reshaping the galaxy for their own amusement, making changes that defied every law of physics and logic that the Zelaxians had carefully constructed. The galaxy was now unrecognizable. A supernova, once a force of unimaginable destruction, was now a galactic art installation, its energy harnessed and directed into creating light shows that stretched across the cosmos. Humans had made a cosmic light show out of the most dangerous element in space. "This is insane," Zix cried. "We've lost control. They're not just altering the stars, they're rewriting everything." It wasn't just the laws of space that were altered. As the humans continued to exert their influence, the Zelaxians' own technology began to glitch. Quantum algorithms that had once been the bedrock of their precise calculations were failing. Even the Zelaxian bureaucracy, which had kept their society in perfect order for millennia, was crumbling. The humans weren't just messing with the physical universe. They were disrupting the very foundation of everything the Zelaxians held dear. Time, space, and even reality itself were now shaped by the whims of the humans who were having fun, casually playing with cosmic forces as if they were toys. As the chaos continued, the Zelaxians scrambled to regain control. They tried everything: restarting systems, recalibrating their quantum systems, even invoking ancient emergency protocols from their archives. But nothing worked. Humanity's influence over the fabric of space-time was absolute. Xylith, now realizing the full magnitude of what humanity had done, slumped into his command chair. His mind raced as he tried to comprehend how this could have happened. "We were supposed to be the masters of the universe," he muttered under his breath. "We had control, we had order. But all that control was now gone. In its place was human chaos, a force so powerful, so unpredictable, that even the Zelaxians couldn't predict what would happen next." The High Council of the Zelaxians convened in an emergency session, their holographic forms flickering as they debated their next steps. The decision was clear. The Zelaxians had no choice but to adapt. They could no longer try to control humanity. The humans were now the dominant force in the galaxy. There was no point in fighting it. "We can't stop them," said Dr. Krex, a senior Zelaxian scientist, his voice filled with dread. "We have to learn to live with them. We must find a way to collaborate with their creativity." The council members murmured in agreement. They could no longer rely on their advanced technology or bureaucratic systems to keep the universe in line. Instead, they would have to embrace humanity's chaos they had long feared. As the Zelaxians accepted their new reality, a cosmic shift began. The universe, once carefully curated and controlled, was now ruled by human whims. The Zelaxians had no choice but to adapt. Humanity's creativity was the new cosmic force, and the galaxy had to adjust to their unpredictable nature. On Earth, the humans continued to play with the universe, rearranging galaxies like pieces on a chessboard, turning black holes into cosmic lounges, and reprogramming time for fun. The once mighty Zelaxians were now just spectators in the grand game humanity had started. Xylith, though resigned to this new cosmic order, couldn't help but marvel at the sheer power of humanity. "We were wrong," he said, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and defeat. Asterisk. We thought they would destroy us, but in the end, they've shown us something we could never have imagined: the power to create, to change, and to think beyond the confines of order." The human leader, still in their bathrobe and sipping coffee, grinned. "Welcome to the new universe," they said, "where everything is possible, as long as we're having fun." The Zelaxians, once the rulers of the cosmos, were now just tenants, trying to keep up with the unpredictable human creativity that had turned the universe upside down. The universe had been reshaped, and humanity was in charge. The final image of the galaxy showed a supernova turned into a cosmic cafe, where humans were chatting and sipping coffee, surrounded by floating planets and galaxies. As the Zelaxians looked on, they realized that the universe would never be the same again. They had learned the hardest lesson of all: humanity could not be controlled. They were a force of chaos and creation, and the galaxy had to learn to live with it. In the end, humanity had not conquered the galaxy through force. They had conquered it through their unpredictable creativity.